Castle Crashers checkpoints make zero sense, and here are 4 reasons why. Scenario 1. You select the desert level where you have been hopelessly stuck for 20 hours. After suffering through the long and boring desert, you finally beat both bosses and move on to the next level. The alien ship looks interesting, so you decide to continue playing and also beat this level. But upon crashing the alien ship, you find yourself in the desert again, and rightfully decide that you've had enough for one day. So you exit to the map, see that the game has saved, and close it down. The next day rolls around and you excitedly load up Castle Crashers, only to be greeted with this. What the heck? You could have sworn that you didn't dream beating the desert and alien ship, so what gives? Well, it turns out that not all Castle Crasher levels save your progress, and that is only done on checkpoint levels. Meaning in this example, you'd have to beat the desert, alien ship, and desert chase all in one sitting just to save your progress. But silly you, right? You must have missed this information during the tutorial. Nope. The game does not tell you this information, and instead lets you figure this out in the most soul-crushing way. But if you are curious to which levels are checkpoints, then you're going to have to go to the fan-made wiki. Scenario 2. After learning about checkpoint levels, you spend the next 20 hours beating the desert again, then crash the alien ship, and finally make your way through the last stretch of desert chase. This places you in Sandcastle Interior, which you have confirmed is a checkpoint level. But after spending the last few hours beating the same levels you beat the day prior, you decide that you're done for the day. And since the next checkpoint isn't till you beat the volleyball game, you quit Castle Crashers and leave it for tomorrow. So the following day, you load up Castle Crashers, excited to finally progress from where you left off. So you load into the game and... yeah, so in order to save your progress, you have to return to the map, as exiting the game doesn't actually save. This is shown via the saving prompt, you know, the one that didn't save your progress in Scenario 1? Well, better luck next time, I guess. Scenario 3. Each level in Castle Crashers is indicated by a node on the map. But not all nodes are created equal. Let's take Marsh for example. This is one of the most punishing levels in all of the game, and is even split into 2 by this load zone. Yet, despite being one of the longer and harder levels in the game, no matter where you die, you are always brought back to the beginning. I guess the Behemoth wanted their levels to be challenging, or didn't want to cram their map with these nodes. Anyway, let's have a look at Cyclops Bridge. So Marsh, Lava World, Desert, and pretty much every long level in the game gets no additional checkpoints. But this gets a whole level on the map? Please, just make it make sense. Scenario 4. So we've gone over checkpoint levels, exiting the map to save, and also the wasted level nodes. Surely things cannot get more cursed, right? Well, during the level Wizard Castle Interior, you have to fight 3 waves of cult minions, before loading into a new zone which contains the 4 final boss fights. In this example, you defeat the Painter boss fight, unlocking the next boss room. However, you unfortunately died to the undead Cyclops. Now when loading into the level again, you would expect to load back into this boss room, right? Well, you don't. In fact, you have to fight the 3 wave of cult minions again just to get back to this room. Now that's extremely harsh, as the game is forcing you to fight 12 cult minions and the Painter boss just to get back to where you died. Except you don't, since your progress saved for the Painter boss. Now I know I am cherry picking this scenario, but this checkpoint system has always bothered me. For all my other examples, you could at least argue that it's punishing but somewhat makes sense. Kind of. But this checkpoint does not make any sense whatsoever. Like, why not just start us in the boss room after we've beaten the cult minions if you're gonna save the progress from the previous bosses? I just don't get it. This one checkpoint has caused me hours upon hours of pain and misery during my many challenge runs. But Catfish gets its own checkpoint and the corn boss? Like, what's going on, guys? But anyway, in conclusion, why is the reset save data right next to the character reset? Do you know how many people have lost their entire save because of this?